Hi, it's Marissa, MKissa Creations, and it is the first week of November, so it is time for Flosstube number 54. I have gotten a lot done. I have worked on my projects. Spoiler alert, I actually stuck to all my plans and finished my October touches on my whips. So I have those to show you. I started touching my November whips. I've worked on my full coverage. I have some awesome plans and things to announce that I've joined, and let's get to it. I have exciting home news. We adopted 2 black cats the day before National Black Cat Day, the week before Halloween, so that was really exciting. We have welcomed both Ash and Salem into our home. They are part Bombay, so they are jumpers and they are very friendly. Salem's a little shy. He loves to play, but has not quite gotten to the snuggly, cozy time. He is polydactyl. He has 6 toes on both of his front paws, and his sister Ash is the sweetest little snuggle bug and has been joining me on the couch. I imagine she may make an appearance. You will definitely hear them, as they have most recently gotten free range of the majority of our home and are up and down the stairs. They are chirping away right now. They don't meow much yet, which I think is normal for kittens that really haven't had to like fight for all that much attention. They were fostered in a great home local to us. They are adopted from friends of feral felines here in Maine. They are distracting me. That's why I keep looking off to the side. If they don't make an appearance in today's video, I will put in some footage of them at the end. I will probably put in footage of them at the end anyways, because the cuteness just cannot be denied. Just realized I have my earbud in. I'm gonna pull that out so that I am not distracted. Okay, so let's see. I guess we can start with whips. Let's close out October. So the stitches that you had already seen me get progress on, that I got a little bit more progress on, are what I will show first. My very first one is the black cat, appropriately. This is from Bent Creek. It is a small, very cute little black kitty. I worked on this on its own, and then it has been what I have now been taking to the carpool line. Now that I am not working 2 jobs, I get to do pickups 3 days a week. And since our girls are at the same school, we get to pick them up in carpool, which is a much shorter line. So I go and hang out there for a few minutes before school gets out and get some stitches in. So this is where Black Cat is now. So I just need to finish the pumpkin and its vines and the insides of the ears, the nose, eyes, and a little tiny, or the nose is a little bit of backstitch. So we're almost done. I did potentially think that I would finish this in October. That didn't happen, but I will finish this before I put it away, as it is one of my projects that's definitely easy to take with me. I have it kind of kitted up in fancy flosses. I substituted for everything from my stash, and it is being stitched on, I believe, a 32 count lamb's wool linen. So that is Black Cat from Bent Creek. That is one of my October I need to touch this whips, and it's checked off the list. Let's see. I need to figure out a safe place to put these. Okay. Next I didn't do any more work on Quaker Pumpkins from Liz Matthews, so that one will stay put away until it comes out again. But the other project that I had still needed to work on for October was the Snug as a Bug pillow sampler from Clouds Factory. And these are those bugs. The last time I showed it, I had these two bugs finished and some partial back stitching over here. I actually got quite a bit done. I wanted to get 2 bugs done, and I did that. And I also got 2 of the little sections of back stitching done. Oh, maybe 3 of the little sections of back stitching. I'm not sure if I had the one, I think I might have had the one next to the big moth in the middle. But so I stitched this death head moth and this beetle, and this skull on this death head moth, I can't like unsee it now. It looks like General Grievous. I posted a picture of it on my Instagram, and my husband was like, I can hear him breathing. General Grievous is like part droid, but he has like lung problems, and so he has like a really like weird breathing situation. This project is really neat. So the back stitching it calls for it to be done in like 1 shade darker than your fabric is. I don't know what this linen is. I believe it is a 32 count. But the back stitch is 640, I believe, or 642. I don't remember which one. But so it turned out really good. I am loving how this is looking. It is a super cool project, and again, it's gonna get put away probably until next year at this point, just because I have other plans and things to do. But I touched it, and it has been added to the list of things I've gotten to this year. So we are getting closer to the end of the year, and I am getting closer to completing touching every project on my whip list. I talked about this a couple of videos back, but I had started the year with 30 whips, and I had at the very beginning of October only touched 15 of them, and that wasn't good enough for me. So I made a plan to touch 5 of my whips for each of the remaining months of the year. And I am so far so good on schedule to make sure that that happens. The next whip that I worked on, we had a Stitchy meetup the other day, and I went to my friend Helen's house, and I worked on one of my November projects. This is Turkey Bay by Plum Street Samplers, and she just filmed a video I think yesterday, and she actually did a turkey tour and showed all of her turkeys that she has in her house, and I was working on this while sitting almost right underneath it where she had it in her living room. But this is Turkey Bay. It's by Plum Street Samplers, Paulette Stewart. And I have kitted this up in flosses from my stash, mostly Color and Cotton, and it's being stitched on Color and Cotton Tombstone, which came from a Halloween box, I believe, a couple of years ago, lots of years ago. She doesn't do boxes or hasn't done them in a while. She did a couple Halloween boxes and a couple of Christmas boxes. They were lovely. If she did them again, I would most definitely participate if I could. I imagine they would sell out rather quickly, as they were fantastic. I will put up a picture here of where this was for my whip parade, and I will show you where it's at now. So as you'll see in the picture from before, I did have some of the flowers done on this side. And then I was at Helen's house, and she did hers in Smyrna crosses instead of, because they're like, it's like 4 stitches of the red, and instead she over 4 boxes, she stitched a smear and a cross. So I ripped mine out because I am going to borrow slash steal slash inherit that idea from her, as it looked fantastic. It made it a little bit more delicate, a little less boxy, and so I'm going to do that. But I got this whole portion of the boat done and a little bit on the turkeys that are in the water. And as you can see, I have not put this away yet. I do plan on still stitching a little bit more on it this month, as I only really got one day into it and was kind of searching for some flosses that I had around my house. My Ash Kitty is out. I am a little bit worried about the microphone on my camera, as it is a big fuzzy ball. So hopefully she does not think that that is one of her toys. And then the other project that I stitched on for my November stitching, and I will show you the 3 others that are left for November that I have worked on, is One Nation. And I've had some feelings about this project. The state of the world, the state of our country is not great, no matter what side you're on. It is just like an unhappy, unharmonious place. So this was my hope piece, and since it's election week, I thought that this would be a perfect week to take this out and stitch it with a little bit of hope in mind. So I stuck my I voted sticker from yesterday on my package, and I forgot to take the project off my Lowry, so I'm gonna do that. All right, so One Nation, man, this pattern, like cover photo, does not do the pattern justice, but this is what it looks like. It is a version of the flag with every state in the order that they were accepted into the Union, in the stripes, and then the stars are like kind of little quilty style Quaker stars. So I will put a picture of where this was during my last whip parade. I had 3 states, I think, and 3 stars done. I finished out Georgia, started Connecticut, and added a star. I still need to do the blue in the middle of it, but here's where that's at. And I feel like you can probably see it a little bit better in person, but I will put this board behind it and show you the close-up. The white does show, and the white is 3866 DMC. The blue and the red are from Victorian Motto. She did like a flag pack a long time ago, and they are America the Beautiful, which is a 815, 816 DMC conversion, and Sea to Shining Sea, which is a 312 conversion. So this is how that's looking. And then I brought the white, I finished out, I think I had a little bit of red to do, and then I got the white stripe pulled all the way over. So it'll just be some letter stitching to finish out that white strip, and then I will do the corresponding amount of stars in the blue field as I get the states done. So right now, 4 states, 4 stars, and that's where that's at. I do not know if I will stitch more on this. This was very much like in my mind for this week, and then I don't know. I don't know if I will stitch more on it, or if something else significant kind of happens, then perhaps I will add some more into this one. This fabric is a 37 count. It is a mystery linen that's not really linen. I think it's like a polyester. I picked up a huge amount of gray at the Goodwill near my friend Helen's house one time, and I dyed this with some tan Rit. It does have like kind of a reddish tint to it. That's probably fairly accurate as to the color, but I think it really helps like make the white stand out, and I really like how it looks. But yeah, these stars are so cool. They're really cute. Kitties are actually meowing today. I don't know which one of them it is, but it's very cute since we haven't really heard it all that much. It's very endearing. All right, so that was One Nation by ByGone Stitches. And then, all right, so those are the other November, those are the 2 November whips that I've gotten to already. I will be stitching more on them, or at least on the Turkey Bay, because we're not close to Thanksgiving yet. And I've got 2 Thanksgiving pieces. But I want to show you the other whips that I worked on, and then we'll get into plans. And that will include the other November stitches that need to get done. All right, so I put some more stitches into Tiki Beach Sunset. I have really been just in full coverage mode and enjoying it. I'm enjoying my other stitches too. These are really hard to see a difference in stitches because I don't stitch in blocks. I need to move the Q-snap up a little bit so that, but I'm working on filling a page in right here. I worked mostly down here. There were a couple of stitches of like certain colors that were in here that were kind of ninja stitches, and then they had more fill in down here. So I'm gonna move my Q-snap down a little bit after this, just because all of this is currently filled in where those lanterns are, and I've got more stuff down here. Like the page ends like right here, and so I would like to have the full page in view as I'm trying to fill in those colors. But this is Tiki Beach Sunset by Amy Stewart, artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, Michelle Saeda, and that's where that one's at. And like I said, I'm in HAED mode. I also continued to work a little bit on my one of my October whips, which was another HAED. It is artwork by Molly Harrison. It's called Mini Which Way, and it is also from Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is where I've gotten to on this. Now, last video I showed you I didn't have as much of this hat filled in. That is mostly where I've worked. I mentioned that I did not have one of those orange flosses, and Audrey Stitchy Witch 42 was a floss fairy for me and sent that on over, and I was able to get a good chunk of stitching into that inspired by her. I think I've probably, since you've last seen this, put around 1,000 stitches into this project. And again, because of the way I stitch, not in blocks, you can't necessarily see as easily what I've gotten done. But really this hat was very empty last time, and it is coming along nicely. So a little bit more of a close-up on where that is. I am very, very happy with the way that that is looking. Okay, plants. Plants. I am joining the HAED SAL, Heaven and Earth Designs. In the month of November and then the very beginning of December, they offer a SAL that you can purchase that is available. The designs are available only for this. Some of them are crops of larger designs, which you can find, and you could potentially crop them yourself. Some of them, she's not going to release them again. They are for this. I have wildcats on my stairs. We have wood stairs, so it's loud. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But so you have the year to complete the project to get a reward chart. Last year for the SAL, they offered you the reward chart of your choice. This year for the SAL, they are offering a choice of 3 charts, none of which I really care about. But, so this is a $20 SAL, and they started releasing sneak peeks. And by the end of the sneak peeks, which I will show you here, all of the different options. Now these are kind of like cropped to fit into whatever image they offered. But as I was looking, because last year I was kind of disappointed. I feel like she used more than half or almost half of the options last year were AI generated images, which if you like to stitch AI, I mean, just reconsider what AI is, and it really is just taking art from other artists and turning it into something else. So essentially like tracing, like if you picked a picture by somebody else and then just incorporated that into your art. I have, as someone who designs and as somebody who, it's a little meh. It's a very weird area right now. But this year, more than half were not AI, and 2 of them are like based on paintings. At least 2. There might be more that are actual pieces of artwork, as far as like paintings go and not digital. A lot of people create their own digital artwork, which I don't have a problem with. But these are like, the one that I'm doing is like a reproduction of a painting from the 1600s. So absolutely love, love, love. I saw this and I was like, it is me. There were 2 that I like though. And the way that the HAED SAL works is that if you finish 6 pages of the HAED in the year, you get all of the charts that were available and that won't be available ever again. So you pay $20 and you potentially get 12 charts. Add to that this year that if you finish only 1 page of the SAL, a Amy Stewart design to be released later is going to be given to you for free. So that now is 13 charts that you're getting. So now I'm at 3 charts that I would probably like to stitch because I love Amy Stewart. That's who Tiki Beach Sunset is by. I really enjoy her artwork. I've got another one of her patterns, Beachcomber's Bounty, in my possession, and there is a new like mini library or traveling library that is on my wish list currently, that I want to get, not the mini version. Hot tip, if you're looking at the HAED website and you are trying to decide between a full size or a mini, make sure you look at those mock-ups. Click that mock-up button and that's going to show you more of what the stitched piece is going to look like versus what her artwork looks like. So the initial picture that you see on a site is usually the artwork piece, and then when you click the mock-up, it'll show you a little bit more detail of what the stitched piece is going to look like. So the mini of that one is just less detailed, and I want the detail, and Amy Stewart has a lot of detail. Even stitching Tiki Beach Sunset now, sometimes I wish I went for a max color version or maybe even a color expansion version. So, okay, so take a look at those. Back to the HAED deal. In addition to the 12 charts that you can get for finishing 6 pages, the Amy Stewart chart that you get if you finish 1 page, the 3 charts you get to choose from if you finish the whole thing, there are also milestone charts, and those milestone charts are gifted as the HAED participant level grows. So as of last night, we had already surpassed the first milestone and earned the first 1,000 participant reward chart. So now we're up to 12, 13, 14, 15 charts that potentially are available to you. Right now though, I'm not really interested in the 3 reward charts for finishing the whole thing. So my goal will only be to finish the 6 pages of the chart that I have chosen. I, again, showed you the picture of all 6. This is the chart that I have chosen. It is a still life of skulls. How could I not? Although I will say there's another piece, and the other piece that I really want to stitch is called Battle. And I was like battling with myself amongst those 2. It seems like a good chunk of people are choosing to do Battle, and so it will be really fun to see those pieces come alive, and I can just enjoy watching that and then work towards my 6 pages so that I can potentially earn myself that chart as well and have it in my you know, full coverage charts to pull out when I start to get into that mode again. do not ever see myself becoming a solely full coverage stitcher, but I really enjoy it. It is much more relaxing to me to stitch a full coverage piece than it is to stitch just a regular like counted cross stitch piece. Even the bigger ones, the full coverage, I just really love like watching the image come to life. And so I've been on the unconventional X-Stitch website a lot lately, and I am finding that there are quite a few on there that I will likely be adding to my collection and my starts soon, and we'll talk about that in a minute when I show you my Stitchy Kindness / haul. Okay, so plans, that chart, the HAED SAL chart, gets released on the 1st of January. So they will send that to us. This year they are sending the full chart. It's last year and the year before they incremented the pages that they sent you. So you got like 4 in the first quarter of the year and 4 in the next quarter. And then I think they released the rest of them because that's like where you get into partials. So this year we're getting the full chart right off the bat, so you can stitch your 6 pages and kind of put it aside, and then just make sure when you get into the window of the time to upload your progress and your status that you remember to get that done, because there's only a certain window for that too. It's like I think it's like the end of November through the end of December. So sign-ups for this, it is $20 US. You go on the HAED website, you purchase only the SAL piece and the 2026 SAL, and that is it. And then you go in with your order number to Facebook. You have to have Facebook to participate in this SAL. You go into the Facebook group, you request to be added, you add your order number, and then you have to fill out the form by December, I think 17th. So if you wait till the very last minute to buy, December 14th, you better know which one you're stitching. I imagine if you're buying it that last minute that you have been like contemplating it before, but just as a heads up, signups opened on November 1st, they closed December 14th. You must select your chart by filling out the Google form by December 17th, I believe. If you don't do that, you automatically get refunded. There are far too many people in this SAL for people to be emailing, asking, saying I made a boo-boo type of thing. Once you select your chart too, you don't get to change it. So that is why some people will wait. But I pulled the trigger, I signed up, I am locked into HAED Skulls, and I am super pumped to start the new year with that start. All right, so November, I have 3 more stitches that I need to get to for November. The first one is Be Thankful. This is glary. We will take this out. It is by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I will be stitching it without these swirly doos on it. So just that line of pumpkins that says Be Thankful. I will probably stitch the line and the leaves that are above and below it, but I'm not going to stitch those swirly bits. And I'll show you where I am. This is stitched on 40 count Espresso. I have shown this before, but we'll just take a quick peek at it again so that, yeah, kitties. Kitties are meowing. All right. So this is where that's at. I've got 2 pumpkins done, and we're gonna go from there. So hopefully I can get 2 more pumpkins done on that as we get closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. And sorry, I am cleaning up because this is like my new greatest fear is cat damage to my projects or project damage to my cats, as far as like needles and things like that go. And then the other project to work on is Act of God from Long Dog Samplers, and this is where that is at. This is a big awesome project. It is currently at, let's see here, sorry. It is currently at 1.66%, and I did this last time too. Sorry. It's 361 by 363. I'm stitching it on a 36 count. I can't remember what the fabric is. Window glare, sorry. But that is what that will look like when it's finished. I am stitching it with a Silks For You purple silk on that dark gray. And I started this with Brandy of B&E Stitchery. She is also stitching on gray. I forget which color she's stitching with. Hers is, I don't think as done, and I don't think she's picked it up in a long time. But Brandy, maybe it's time. All right. And then my last project for November that I need to work on is All Creatures Great and Small from Barbara Anna Designs. This is another big one, and I'm stitching this with the called for DMC conversion. It's, I believe, originally charted in Anchor, but here's where this is at. As you can see, this has got a pretty stiff fabric with it. Some color changes with our lighting. It's a gloomy day. We have officially entered the freezing season. Things are getting a little chilly around these parts. There was a snowflake in the 10-day forecast, but it went away. So I am gonna stick with, actually, now that I mention it, as a snow day project this year, just since we're talking about plans, I will be sticking with Shores of Hawk Run Hollow as my snow day project. There's a bigger picture of that. I am stitching this on 40 count doubloon from Picture This Plus. I am working on my third block, which is this mermaid block, and then it has like a big house over it. So that's where this is. This is where that project is so far. Last year, or this year, I finished out this block and stitched all of this block, and then the whole bottom of this one's done, which is the full coverage section. So that's exciting. And so that will continue to come out on snow days when it can. I haven't decided how I'm going to tackle the 6 pages of that HAED yet. If it's going to be like a stitch on this everyday piece for me, or try to, or if it's going to be a make sure I get this number of stitches each week kind of thing. But I imagine I'll come up with something, and hopefully now that I'm on this like kick of sticking with the way that I do things, it might actually like come to fruition. So excited about that. And then let's share some stitchy kindness. Okay, so we had our annual like potluck holiday celebration. We have moved it to the fall so as to not like overload ourselves during holiday time, and seriously getting it done before Thanksgiving is amazing. I had my friend Patty, and in typical Marissa fashion, I finished it at the last minute, and the worst thing possible for me was that I had a person that I had to send it to because our friend Patty moved to New York a couple of years ago. We still include her in our group and hopefully she will return someday, but right now she does it from afar and joins us via Zoom, and so I had to send it. It did get there earlier than it needed to, not by much, but it made it, and I failed at picture taking. So I stitched her and finished her a little pin keep that turned out actually much better than I thought. My finish, I like triple stitched it on batting and like cut it with pinking shears around the edges, and I just like really love how rustic it looked, although it was very messy. I'm a kitty playing with coasters. Okay, my friend Kathy of Two Needles Pulling Thread had me, and last year was the last person to open my swap, and this year I was also the last person to open my swap, and I think maybe I was like kind of complaining about it, but I think maybe I like being the last person to open my swap, and she knocked it out of the flippin' park. So we always put like what holidays we like the best, what chocolate we like the best, or candy or treats, or like what our favorite style of stitching is. Do we like primitive? Do we stitch on linen? Aida, even weave. We kind of fill out like a little form, and then you kind of Secret Santa it. I always put that I love Halloween and summer, and I always claim summer as a holiday, and everyone knows I love like tiki stuff. Like obviously I've got Tiki Beach Sunset going. So I opened my present last, and I opened this and I was like, ooh, it's a box. Okay, very cool. Turn it over. Look at this tiki Halloween spooky flamingo. I don't know how you could more appropriately find a pattern for Marissa. I believe that her daughter Ashley helped pick this one out, but holy cow, I am so impressed. And is this even a small? I don't know, but I absolutely love it, and she crushed it, and I am so happy. So thank you, Kathy. I also got a bag of Dove chocolate, which is amazing. A little piece of 40 count for me to stitch on. These adorable candy corns for decor. A couple of little projects for my girls. And then she made these project cards, which I'm really excited about, especially because of the fact that it has this conversion stuff on the bottom of it, but also because, as we know, sometimes I fail at being a floss tuber, remembering what my fabrics are. But I'm gonna put one of these in with Turkey Bay like immediately. She gave me 4 of them, but one of them is going in with Turkey Bay so that I can remember what all of my conversions are, because then I don't have to write it on the pattern and it can just be in it. And it's got this lovely lady stitching with kitties and hummingbirds, and it's just awesome. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and she also, if that wasn't enough, gifted me this. There was more. So this was meant to like tie or to put on the top of the bag, but it actually, like, I have a Marissa Halloween Colors Christmas wreath on her door. Not a Christmas wreath, a Halloween wreath. Although it's kind of Christmassy because it's got like Jack Skellington color, like striped bow. But so I'm gonna put this pick in with that. So that was perfect. And then this project bag, which is perfect for those, you know, 5x8 projects. And it's just got that same black on the inside. It is so stinking cute. May the witches be kind to you on Halloween. Trick or treat. Something wicked this way comes. Just really, really adorable. So that, and then, but wait, there's more. this mug with all these cute little trick-or-treaters on it. And then on the inside, it says, "Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat." So cute. And then this like ball of trims, very bright colors, like pillow trims, rickrack. There's like some beautiful like braid, which I think she used like a similar one on here, if you can see it, to go around the edge of the project. So it looks really good. So I was super stoked on that. So I got that for Stitchy Kindness. Then in the mail, the same day I received my floss from Audrey, I got some Stitchy Kindness from Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie. I had showed a stitch from my husband's great aunt that had come to us that was this bread stitch. And she said, "Oh, I have that pattern. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds amazing." It is from Leisure Arts Kitchen Stitchin'. And there are a ton of patterns in here. But like, these are all so cute. So this one's funny. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you think I'm 13, I am. But yeah. So thank you, Stephanie. This is awesome. I appreciate you so much. And then Helen always spoils us with her goodie bags of like stuff that she's probably not going to use for her giveaways, but were given to her from friends, or things that she's already used, or things that are extra, or doubles, or everything. And then our friend Rebecca brought a bag of her stuff that she was not going to use, and I scored. I absolutely scored. So I'm going to show you some of those goodies. Plum Street Tired Trio. So this is the sloth. What are these called? They have animal stacks, she called them, they have like a, I don't know, they had like a name when it was like all of them. But Tired Trio is these cute little sloths on branches. I love them. This is the only Tired Trio, or the only like little trio of animals that I own, but this one is adorable. And then I scored some coffee themed stitches, which I actually have a couple of coffee themed freebies that I need to finish up. But this one's from Hearthstring Samplery. First I drink the coffee, then I do the things. This was very popular when it first came out. Does it have the year on it? I don't see what the year is on there. But this was, I think, a market release, and it spread like wildfire when this one first came out. People were, I think a lot of people stitched this up. She made a mug from it too. So that was really cool. And then this one I'm not going to open, so it might be a little bit glary, but it is an old Paulette Stewart pattern, 2011 Plum Street Samplers. It has her old logo on it, and it says, "Beans, beans, the magical brew, the more you drink, the more you'll do." There we go. So that's super cute. And then this one came from Rebecca, and it's a full kit with the backing fabric, with the Lady Dot Creates finishing trim, and with the, I don't even know what this is, and with this fabric to stitch it on. What is this? Oh, Bee Friendly flower seeds, and like a little pick to put in the ground. This looks like it is probably 32 count sugar cookie. I imagine. But these are the 3 patterns that are in there. And then I'm going to take this all out and then it's going to be hard to put it back in. And then the floss card and the backing fabrics. Like, Rebecca, thank you for sticking that in our little gift bag. Sorry, crinkle crinkle, I just don't want to leave, I don't want the kitties to find these. All right, and then fabric happened. All right, so I was just kind of like, okay, maybe I will find something so I don't have to purchase fabric for the HAED SAL. And boy, howdy did I. So I usually stitch my HAEDs or my full coverage on 25 count lugana, or like, at least that's what I have stitched on in the past. But Helen had all this 27 count Linda, and it is an even weave, and it is plain and perfect. And so I grabbed that. So I have this big piece of white, and then these 2 from the Fat Quarter Shop that are 18 by 26 in antique white and then whisper gray. So I think I'm probably going to use the antique white for the skulls. I have something else in mind for the whisper gray, although I might be able to do both of them on it. But I like the idea of this darker color. I might actually do the skulls on the whisper gray now that I'm thinking about it, just because with the mini Which Way I've been stitching some white on cream, and even on like a creamy color, it's really hard to see your white on white stitches and see where you've missed or where you have like holes. So those, so that's 3 HAEDs worth of fabric at least. So I imagine that that's gonna happen. Or 3 full coverages. One of them is an unconventional X stitch, and I'm like real close to pulling the trigger on that. I might wait until like November or December to see if she has any sales coming up to the holidays, just to save myself a little bit of money. Then I also got a 1/8 of a yard of 36 count white even weave. It's just like a little piece. I think this was in Rebecca's bag. It is a like blue linen. I don't know what the count is, but it looks like it's probably 28. And then my friend Tina and I cut up a 1/2 yard cut of vintage Country Mocha and split it so that we both got I think that's a Fat Quarter. And then this picture, this plus 28 count Lugana in Dapple, which is like a light blue with like a beigey tan modeling. It just looks grungy, which I really love. Normally I would not lean toward the 28 count, but because this is Picture This Plus, it definitely looks like it's a little bit tighter and smaller. So I will happily stitch on this. And then this fabric flare, I think this is 36 count. It might even be 40. On the back it says E3614, but 36 and 14 are not equal counts to each other. So, and then nowhere else can I find a number on it that says what it might be, but it's ivory and it's small, and that was like lovely. And then another piece of white 32 count Belfast, which this is a big piece. It's 27 by 36, so it's is that a full yard cut? I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one yet, but I like big projects and I cannot lie. So it will probably be something amazing. And that's all I got for you cross stitch wise. Since we didn't get a visit from the kitties and you probably just had to hear them, I will stick in some super cute videos of them frolicking or making biscuits. Hopefully there's some nice loud, lovely purrs on there that you can hear. They've both got perfect little motors. I will see you in a couple of weeks. I imagine that there will be plenty of stitching. We're in for some crummy weather for the next week, and it's getting cold, so that is a lot of inside time. Life is keeping on lifing, and so far it's good in our house. If you are struggling through what's going on right now as far as food insecurity, please reach out. There are a lot of resources to help. A lot of people that can help are helping. So check out your you know, your local information. I think 211 in the United States is still a great resource to find resources. They can connect you with what is local to you to help with food, especially around these holidays, help with housing, help with electric bills. I used to work for a nonprofit, and we had a program that we worked with through the local electric company where like one time a year you could get your electric bill paid for you. So if you're struggling, don't just struggle in silence. Please reach out to your electric company and your gas company. A lot of them have programs that they can help you with or direct you to. Take advantage of those if you need them. Please don't let yourself or your family go without food during this time if that is something that is happening to you. Anyways, on a more positive note, here's some cute kitties, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Have the best time that's available to you, and I hope you get a lot of stitching done. Bye.